All right. Today in this video, we're going to actually scan Kodak Ektar 100, which is a very beautiful piece of film that I've ever used in my life. And the interesting part is that I developed it in the lab, and I also made them scan with their own scanner, which is Noritsu. I'm going to put in the let's put the full name of the Noritsu on the top somewhere. So what's a Noritsu scanner anyway? So essentially, it's actually a very, very good scanner. However, I do have my little Plustek optic film 8100, I believe. Yep, that's the one. Now, also, I'm going to, what I tend to do actually, even though I have had them scanned with the Plustek Noritsu scanner at the JPEG, I believe if I look at the size of the file that I made them scan, which I have them here, the size of the scanners, the images are about 3130 by 2075 at 6.7 megapixel JPEG. Now, I'm going to actually keep exact same image size and basically try to do kind of like a semi-automatic mode instead of trying to adjust it. Idea is that I want to see exactly, without retouching too much, how much the image quality difference between the Noritsu version of Kodak Ektar versus my Plustek 8100 the scan, and the software that I'm going to use, which is the Silverfast, which luckily do have their the Ektar 100 profile, so I don't have to do much of an editing there, which is fantastic. So let's jump into it. I'm going to scan a few images. You're going to see exactly how I scan my image, and then you will be seeing the comparison side by side with the scan version of it versus the my scan version of it, which is the Plustek and Silverfast, versus the Noritsu version. And that might give you an idea that if the lab is much better than the Plustek, more essentially, if the Noritsu is much better than the Plustek. And is it worth the hassle scanning at home? Because it does take a lot of time. No matter what you say, it does take a lot of time, because sometimes it's better to just take the images and then let the lab deal with it. And then at home, it's fun if you want to pass your time, if you have a lot of time in your hand. But if you want to do something nice and quick, in that case, I recommend you to do in the lab. I'm telling you right now, before even starting the scan. Also, before I get into the video, please take a look at the things in the description below. All the links kind of help me if you click them and give me a little bit of commission. At least like and subscribe and comment below if you have anything to say. All right, let's jump into the scanning process. All right, let's change the name of the file, and that would be more or less identical to the Kodak Ektar Silaus, something like that. And then I'm going to change the name of the location. Right, time for some action. So I'm going to make them increase the size. As I said, I'm going to mimic exact thing as the Noritsu scan. So the Noritsu was, if I remember correctly, 3130. 3130. 2075. Right, it's looking good. Now, time for some scan. It's looking good. What I don't understand that the size looks a lot smaller than I was expecting it to be. So I'm gonna make it all the way high and scan the whole thing. Right, and second thing is that it's a little soft looking, as you can clearly see. So in that case, I'm going to, well, I'm not going to actually touch anything. However, I'm going to do all the automatic mode, for example. First thing I can do is the automatic contrast correction, followed by the global, which is the automatic saturation correction. Let's see what it gives me. And then I'm going to scan it and let's see what's the result it gives me. Now I just did the first one, followed by I'm going to now go to the fourth image and see what it gives me right there. Right. Now let's see automatic saturation, automatic contrast correction. Looks pretty nice by me, although looking a little bit soft in my eyes. So I'm going to add a little bit of USM sharpening. And then scan it. It's pretty good too. Now, I think in the previous image, I added a little bit of too much of a sharpening. So I'm going to reduce the sharpening quite a bit. Add though, but not too much. And just a touch of a threshold. And then let's see the second image now. I'm going to get back the saturation back to 0. And also the contrast back to reset it for the sake of neutrality. Now it looks like I need to fix the rotation. Right, now fix that quite a bit. Auto saturation correction, not too much, just a little bit as well, and scan. The idea is basically I'm going to scan forward of the image and then I'm going to compare side by side each images so that it It gives me some ideas for myself in terms of the color, resolution, and contrast, and to you at the same time. Seems to be a little bit overexposed, this one. Now the last image, you can hear a click. Pre-scan. I will reset back again as usual to 0. Saturation back to 0 as well. Adjust the height and the perspective. Make sure it's nice inside. Now rotate, followed by auto saturation a little bit. I'm doing all auto because I'm sure the lab did the auto as well, so not much to do here. And scan. But I have a hypothesis. I think the scan in the lab also did reduce some of the image size, because I have a lot more spaces here where my scanned images looks a bit smaller. I'm going to explain exactly what I mean by that. Just give me a second. Right, so that's the final result. You have a little bit of dust spot, of course, but ignore that because I cannot be bothered at this point. Idea is to look at the color, contrast, and the quality of the sharpness. Right, so one last image of myself taking a selfie, and then we are moving to the comparison, because what I'm trying to get is that trying to get a little bit of landscape and portrait so that you can have an idea of the result between those two when it comes to portrait and landscape, two of the most areas that we take a lot of images of. Now here, auto contrast and then auto saturation. Right, nothing else gonna be changed. Now let's do the scan. You can again see a lot of dust spots clearly, but again, this is not why we are here. We are here to look at the result of the color and the tonality and the image quality in the end overall. Of course, good thing is that in the lab, they do have the ICE technology, which means that they use the infrared to get rid of all the dust spots from the image. But then again, which is funny because a lot of software, for example, DxO Film Pack, actually do have option to add dust, just to give you the authenticity of the film look. I mean, sometimes when you have it, you want to get rid of it. Sometimes when you don't have it, you want to achieve it just to show the authenticity. Now, we are done the scanning. I'm not going to scan the whole roll because it's going to take forever. What I'm going to do right now is that I'm going to do a side-by-side comparison to show you the image quality. Right, time to do some side-by-side comparison. First thing first, the one that I scanned in the lab, they didn't even bother to rotate each of the images. So I'm going to do the rotation for you right now, so that it's easy to compare. So the left, and then there you go. Right. So the moment of truth. First thing, this image, which is scanned in the Noritsu Koki EZ controller model, and it's a 3 megabyte image. So I try to keep more or less the same. So it's about 6.5 versus 7 megapixel. So this one, I'm going to compare with my Plustek. Now, I just realized that there is a weird thing. For example, as you can clearly see that EXIF file. So I'm going to turn on the EXIF. The one on the left, which is the Noritsu, and it's reversed. And my Plustek, on the other hand, is the right version. Or am I going crazy? If I remember correctly, no, I'm in the right side. It's the Noritsu version is the one that reversed. The reason why I'm saying that, because that's my garden and my papaya tree is leaning on the left, not on the right. Anyway, all right. So the guy didn't even bother to, they did it kind of mirrored, if I understand correctly, but that's fine. I can live with that. What I can't live with is the image quality. So let's zoom in quite a bit. Bam, bam, bam. So if you look at the histogram, pay attention to the histogram. The contrast already giving you the idea on the histogram. I'm going to turn off and on so that you can exactly see what I'm talking about. So that's on the top. The contrast looks pretty much good. The Plustek version looks pretty... they're both identical. You can compare all of them, but the Noritsu version looks a bit more brighter in my eyes, first of all, and slightly more grain, where the Plustek has a little bit more resolution. Then again, the Noritsu version, the lab guys, they have their own default settings, so of course they kept their own setting, so that's fine by me. What else? The color, most importantly, color. My face looks a little bit more reddish, which is the original Plustek profile of the Kodak Ektar. So that looks pretty... again, I can be nitpicky about it, but at the end of the day, if you look at the both picture, they're both, contrast-wise, color-wise, looks pretty good in my eyes. I have more control with the Plustek, of course, because I'm the one that controlling it. On the other hand, the lab guy, they're doing their own version of the scan. So, can't blame them because they have a lot to do where I'm doing my own. Now, that's one. I'm going to look at the little bit overexposed image. Right. Easy to say that left one again is the Noritsu, and the right one is my Plustek with Silverfast. I don't know what you think, so I'm gonna give you some more room. So that's the EXIF for your sake. I think the EXIF only showing the date, so that's fine. I'm gonna get rid of it. I'm going to zoom in quite a bit. Go to the left a little bit. Go to the right slowly. Image was already been, too much of a scan, too much overexposed. So I can't do much about it. However, if you look at the side by side, again the Plustek. This case looks a little bit less saturated, a little bit less reddish, and the Noritsu on the left looks a bit more reddish. Again, not much of a difference unless you zoom in like 100%, of course. Then you're gonna start to see differences. But is it really matter? I mean, even if you print it, how good is too good? How bad is too bad? They both look pretty much identical to me. So, nothing really surprising in the Plustek. Noritsu is good too. Now, another images I'm interested in is this one, which is the high contrast. So, right, again, it's mirrored version. So forgive me, so we can focus on the center. Remind you, left is the Noritsu, right is the Plustek. Of course, the megapixels are higher because I scanned a slightly bit more resolution. That's totally fine. The image quality nonetheless remains the same. Nice and beautiful grain. When I zoom in quite a bit, I think it's been pushed. The color looks pretty much identical in my eyes and nothing to compare about. So at the end of the day, guys, what I think is that which one is better? Noritsu or Plustek? In my eyes, they both look pretty good. They both look pretty nice. They both have nice options. The one thing is that other than the Noritsu, in my opinion, is that if I were you, I wouldn't scan at home. I'll just give all the trouble to the lab guys and then let them deal with it, and as long as they're good enough. Looks like they're doing a very good job, my labs. So even though I have a scanner, I would skip the hassle and give it to the lab guys so that they can, deal with all the scanning trouble, and then I can just enjoy photography. There are gonna be a little bit of differences, of course, but it's negligible. For example, this image, the lab scanned Noritsu, which is kind of it's perfect and has no spots. Well, on the other hand, it would take me a lot of time to get rid of all the dot spots unless I have a ice technology in my scanner, and it takes a lot of time too. Am I ready for it to take a lot of time and then get rid of all the dust? I don't think so. Some people has a lot of patience. I don't. So my point is that they're both good. I mean, if you have a Plustek at home, think that you will do much better job or same good job as Noritsu. On the other hand, if you want flexibility, Noritsu at the lab can do much better job and faster. And all you have to do is just give them the roles, pay them, and then you just receive the result. That's it.